Hello. Welcome to this video, which is about Ezekiel chapter 1 verses 1 to 28 and chapter 37 verses 1 to 14. So I hope you enjoy this part of the Old Testament. So let's start. In my 30th year, in the 4th month on the 5th day, while I was among the exiles by the Kebar River, the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. I looked, and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their faces looked like this. Each of the 4 had the face of a human being, on the right side the face of a lion, on the left the face of an ox. Each also had the face of an eagle. The appearance of the living creatures was like burning coals of fire or like torches. Fire moved back and forth among them, and lightning flashed out of it. The creatures sped back and forth like flashes of lightning. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. Their rims were high and awesome, and full of eyes all around. When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved. When the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Spread out above the heads of the living creatures was what looked something like a vault, sparkling like crystal and awesome. When the creatures moved, I heard the sound of their wings, like the roar of rushing waters, like the voice of the Almighty, like the tumult of an army. Above the vault over their heads was what looked like a throne of lapis lazuli, and high above on the throne was a figure like that of a man. I saw that from what appeared to be his waist up, he looked like glowing metal, as if full of fire, and that from there down he looked like fire, and brilliant light surrounded him. Like the appearance of a rainbow in the clouds on a rainy day, so was the radiance around him. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. When I saw it, I fell face down, and I heard the voice of one speaking. A prophetic vision of a vast and silent valley under a darkened sky, filled as far as the eye can see with dry, lifeless bones scattered across the earth. The air is still, heavy with sorrow and ancient desolation. A lone prophet stands in the midst of the valley, led there by the Spirit of the Lord. A faint, holy light surrounds him, marking divine presence in a place of death. Biblical, sacred atmosphere, dramatic clouds, soft heavenly glow breaking through darkness. Close view of the prophet standing among endless dry bones as a radiant, unseen divine presence fills the sky with light. The moment is holy and weighty. The voice of the sovereign Lord seems to echo through creation itself. Can these bones live? The prophet stands humbly, small before the glory of God, dust swirling gently at his feet. Sacred tension, divine mystery, biblical awe, heavenly light piercing the clouds. The prophet raises his staff and speaks the word of the Lord over the valley. The sky brightens with supernatural light as divine authority fills the air. The bones begin to quiver where they lie, as if creation itself is listening. A low rumble moves across the valley floor. Holy power, visible waves of spiritual energy moving through the air, cinematic miracle moment. A great rattling sound erupts across the valley. Bones begin sliding, rolling, and lifting from the ground, drawn together by unseen power. Skulls align with spines, ribs form cages, hands reach toward arms. Dust rises in golden light as skeletons assemble themselves. The scene is filled with motion and divine energy, a miracle of restoration and progress. Epic scale, dramatic movement, supernatural force at work. Before the prophet's eyes, tendons weave themselves around the bones like threads of life. Muscles form, flesh appears, and skin spreads over the bodies. Thousands of human forms now lie across the valley floor, perfectly formed but still lifeless. The light of heaven shines brighter, showing the holiness of the moment. A pause of sacred stillness before the final miracle. The prophet lifts his voice again, calling to the breath. The sky opens and mighty winds rush in from every direction, north, south, east, and west. Streams of glowing, divine breath sweep across the valley like rivers of light. The wind carries the Spirit of God, visible as radiant energy entering each body. Dust and light swirl together in a holy storm of life. Suddenly, chests rise with breath, eyes open, hands press against the ground as thousands stand to their feet at once. A vast living army fills the valley where death once reigned. Their faces are strong, alive, and filled with divine purpose. Light from heaven shines over them as the miracle is complete. Hope restored, life from death, biblical epic scale, triumphant and holy atmosphere. The vision shifts to a symbolic scene of graves opening and people rising in the light of God's glory. The land once barren now glows with life and promise. The Spirit of the Lord moves like a gentle, radiant wind over the people. The feeling is covenant, restoration, and divine faithfulness. Warm golden light, hopeful, sacred, peaceful conclusion to a mighty miracle.